Live. What's up, everybody? How's it going? You can see these lives are getting a little more sophisticated. Each time I go live with Ecamm, I'm learning a little something extra each time. Like I got this fun little bar up here. I've also turned this into a square live stream, which is pretty cool. So I've optimized the dimensions of my live stream, so it's no longer just a wide 16 by 9 live stream. I've made it a 1 by 1 live stream optimized for the dimensions. I got this little unicorn guy down here, little water stamp, and I got some even cooler surprises in store for you today. The first of which I'm going to show you in just a second. I'm just going to triple check and make sure that we are good on all the different channels and all the different groups and all the different places this live stream goes. Obviously, as you can tell, it's an energetic day when you drink one of these big ones. So every time I drink a larger monster, I think it takes 2 full days off your life versus the normal monster, which is just 1 day. So, but there's a lot of work to be done, and because of that, it requires a little energy if I want to do a full workday and then do a live stream AMA at 6 p.m. after an entire workday. So cool. Looks like we are good to go inside my personal profile. It looks like we're good to go on my public figure page. It looks like we're good to go in the it actually looks like we are so the personal profile, it still does this every time. So it still does the setting where it restricted on my privacy. I got to figure out how to get to the bottom of that. So I need to reach out to chat support. I had this great intro too, so I totally wasted that opportunity. I just spoke for a minute, and again, I was speaking for for a minute to nobody. So that was good. I think in the marketing strategies group, there's people watching. So thank God there's Brian. What's up, brother? So luckily there's people in the marketing strategies group that are watching, because I was looking on my personal profile. That's the live I was looking at, and it was set again to me only. And I know why. This time it's actually my mistake, not Ecamm's mistake, because I demoed a new feature. I was testing this out, this feature here, and so I set it to private because I was testing some cool things. I was testing the dimensions of this live. I was testing this top bar up here. I was also testing. Get ready for this. This is going to be pretty cool. Are you guys ready for it? All right, here we go. Look at that. So if that doesn't get you to like the post, I don't know what'll get you to like the post. But anyway, I have this cool little animation now that I got rocking, so I can literally, anytime I want to like or an engagement, I don't have to ask for it anymore. All I got to do is just press this little button and let this fun little animation thing do it for me, which is pretty cool. So, so unfortunately, there's the only challenge sometimes with live streaming is that you get this like lag between the actual feed over here that I'm watching and me talking over here, and so I'm watching for like engagements on here. By the time you guys engage, I'm already 20 seconds in the future because I have master time travel, and because of that, you guys can't actually see the. It makes it harder. Anyway, so let's go back. Let's dive in and have a chat. So today I wanted to basically talk about what you want to talk about, which is, are unicorns real, and important questions like that. So I figured we would just do a live. We'll do an AMA style, and so I have the different streams pulled up. What's up, Alex? How's it going? So we got time. Larissa is working till 10 p.m. tonight, so that means all I got to do is work. So I have nothing better to do than when my wife isn't home. I don't really have a life, so that means I'll be working. And Hoki's gonna come up here, right? Come on. So we got Hoki up here, and so yeah, we can do anything we want. The night is ours. So any questions you guys have, and it doesn't have to be just marketing related. We can talk about, like Brian said, how about this Avengers? I want to make sure I don't do any spoilers for anybody, but we can definitely we can cover a lot of ground. So I'm I'm excited to get started. So let's pull up. I got all the streams pulled up. So I got this one over here. I got this one over here. Unfortunately, there's no uniform chat, at least not yet. Let me just triple check. Restream, unfortunately, like their chat functionality, like they create this kind of distribution of all the streams, and then they're supposed to have this kind of uniform chat where it pulls all the comments into one uniform chat. But that is sadly not the case. So so it doesn't look like we'll be pulling in any of the comments. That means I got to pull up all the different streams and monitor them simultaneously, which is a pain in the ass. So yeah, I am here for ready to rock for actually tips number 7 should be live too. Let's pull up paid traffic training tip number 7, and it is live. Look at that. The team is hard at work. That's a beautiful thing about having a team, is that I shoot the content, I upload it, and then magically stuff gets created. So I'm going to drop the link while you guys put your questions in there. I see Justin, you posted a question, which is awesome. I'll get to that next. But let me just drop the paid traffic tip number 7. Watch paid traffic tip number 7 right now at boom. I can't believe it's already been 7 days of tips. So I still got 8 more left, which is a lot, but it's you know, I'm enjoying it, right? I'm having fun doing it. I committed to doing it. That means I got to go all in on it, right? Can't back out. But it is a little bit pain in the ass sometimes to constantly be coming up with stuff to talk about. So it is challenging, but we're making it through. Okay, so I'm gonna pull this up. Let's do this. I'm gonna pull up the different feeds in the actual video feed instead of post feed. That way, I can just see all the comments. Okay, so we got that. We got that one over there. Cool. Okay. So it's a little bit of a cluster, just because I have so many simultaneous feeds going on. So if you're on my public figure page right now and you're watching and I don't get your question, I'll circle back at the end, but I can only have so many screens open at the same time, and I'm already overwhelmed with the number that are going on right now. So, okay. So we got an even amount on personal profile and the group. So let's dive into some questions. But first of all, you guys like the new format? If you do, look at that. You got to hit that like button right there. I don't think I've shown it to everybody yet. That was the first, when I was just starting out, I played it. But I love this little animation. I'm going to start incorporating more animations and things into these lives. Make it a little more fun, make it a little more different. Because honestly, everyone's doing lives, right? And they all look the same. They all cover the same content. So the cool thing with what we're doing is we're always looking for ways to innovate, to be different, to separate ourselves. And so for me, it's like, hey, was it a good use of time to spend an hour trying to figure out how to make this a 1x1 live dimension and how to throw this up here and how to put the unicorn down here and how to create these like animations? Maybe, maybe not, but it certainly makes it different, right? And it stands out in the feed and people are scrolling by. So yeah. Awesome. So tonight we're going to do an AMA. I'll hang out for as long as you guys want to hang out and as long as you have questions. And I'm going to circle back between each feed. So we have multiple feeds up here with multiple questions. So I'm going to kind of cycle through them. We'll start with Justin. And Justin's question is, okay, how, and of course it's a little too narrow, so I couldn't see the full question. There we go. How do you add as much as the 5 senses possible in your marketing, selling of products? Okay. How do you add as much of the 5 senses? Well, I actually like to add the 6th sense. So every ad we run secretly has a Bruce Willis cameo in it. And usually it's very, very faint, and he's almost totally transparent. So you can't see him. But we use Bruce Willis and we use a 6th sense to really make our ad stand out and pop and be different. Having ghosts in your ad help. No, I'm just kidding. So just trying to like digest your question, because it's, unfortunately you can't, you can only do so much with your ads, right? We don't have the ability to touch somebody, right? What we have is the ability to visually be compelling and auditory, so we can control sound and we control the visuals. That's really the senses. We can't do smell. We can't do tactile, right? Um, so I think what we need to think about as marketers is, not so much like, well, what senses can we control and stuff, which is a great question, right? Is how do we, the principle of your question is great, which is basically how do we elicit an emotional response, and how do we create an experience with our ads when we're very two-dimensional, and we're not the primary reason why somebody is where they are, right? They didn't come onto Facebook to see an ad for your product or for my product, right? They're on Facebook for a lot of other reasons. And so I think, one of the things I look at is historical examples of people that have done an incredible job of changing mediums and creating novel experiences and emotions through different mediums. So what I mean by that, it sounds like a bunch of like mumbo jumbo, fancy words. So Hitchcock's a great example, and so Alfred Hitchcock is one of, if not the greatest, he's definitely the greatest horror director, if not one of the greatest directors of all time. And what he was able to do, which is incredibly impressive, given the fact that when he was making movies, they didn't have 3D and 4DX experiences and all IMAX and all that stuff. He didn't have really great technology, yet he was able to create movies that genuinely like triggered emotions, right? Triggered genuine fear in people. When they went to see his movies, they felt true fear, like the type of fear that you feel when you're actually in danger, right? Because at the end of the day, there's two types of fear. There's the type of fear that we feel when we're out walking around at 1 a.m. in the woods and you hear a sound and it gets closer. That is a true fear, because what's happening is your body's actually reacting, right? Those sounds and that lack of sight and that experience is actually triggering biochemistry. It's actually causing your heart to race faster. It's actually causing you to release adrenaline. So you can, if you need to fight or flight, you can do that quicker. It's actually triggering, it's flooding your body with chemicals, right? That's true fear. Then there's the type of fear when you go to a movie and you see Saw 16, right? Or Freddy vs. Jason 5, or whatever the horror movie is, The Ring 7. And, sure, you get jump scares, right? But there's very few movies that you see where you actually feel it, right? Where you're watching a movie and your palms start to sweat and your body actually reacts chemically. And so what was amazing with Hitchcock, what he was able to do is he was able to make his actors feel the way that they were supposed to be acting. All right, let me cycle back to that real quick. So the problem with movies, the problem with a lot of and this can be translated. I know we're talking about movies right now, but this is translated to everything, right? This can be ad copy, ad videos, whatever you want it to be. The problem with all of that is the person that's delivering the message or the person that's writing the message, like most of the time, they don't actually feel or believe what they're saying or doing, right? So when somebody's shooting a horror movie, 9 times out of 10, the actors who are in the scene, who are supposed to be acting afraid, aren't actually afraid. And because they're not actually afraid, you can actually tell that, hey, this isn't genuine, right? There's some intangible that human beings can sense about authenticity, right? It's hard to put your finger on, and I don't know the science behind it, but when somebody genuinely isn't afraid or genuinely isn't surprised, and they're trying to trigger that emotion in you, it's very hard to do that because it's not real. You can't feel the emotion. So what Hitchcock was able to do, which is brilliant, is he was able to actually make his actors genuinely feel emotionally, physically, psychologically how they were supposed to feel. So they didn't have to act. So even if they were shit actors, it still grabbed the audience because the person in the scene genuinely felt terrified, right? And so how did he do that? So an example would be he had one of his movies. First, the movie was, but he had two like A-list actors, right? Two, super A-list, big ego, like the world revolved around them. Didn't care about anybody else, right? Just came to the set, collected their check, read their lines. The problem is in the scene that he needed to film, he needed those people to feel anxious. He needed them to feel little, meaning like they basically had to feel the opposite of the way they felt. They needed to feel pressure and anxiety and these emotions that didn't come naturally to them because they were on top of the world and everyone waited on them hand and foot. And so when they did the read throughs, he was like, "This is crap, right? I don't feel anything watching them read these lines. No matter how good of an actor you are, it doesn't matter." So what he did is in the morning, he went up to him and said, "Hey, you guys come over here, right?" And he said, "We're going to test out a scene later where you're going to be handcuffed. So we have the props guy has got to test him out." So he put handcuffs on him. He attached them to the wrist, basically. And then he went to grab coffee. And then he happened to just leave the set. And he said, "Hey, I don't know where the key is. We lost the key." And so he made them go basically the entire day handcuffed together. And what that did, it made them feel little and they felt embarrassed. Everyone was laughing at them. People were pointing at them and saying things. They couldn't even go to the bathroom because they were attached at the wrist. So even to go to the bathroom or do things like that, they'd do it together, which was embarrassing, right? And so all of a sudden you have these, big A-list actors who now spent one day in an embarrassing situation. And Hitchcock came back from lunch. He said, "Oh, I found the key," and unlocked it. And when they shot the scene, they all of a sudden it was perfect because the emotions he needed them to act like they actually felt. They no longer had that big ego. They no longer had it. Maybe they still did after the scene, but for that scene, they were in the moment. And so he was able to do that with all of his movies and make sure the actors felt that and that can translate it through the screen to the people watching the movie, which is really impressive. Again, given the how little he had to work with technologically. And so I think the same thing can be said with advertising is you need to be able to be authentic in your message, right? And so this is why the Harmon Brothers, when they have a spokesperson, basically the person that does all their ads, the different actor they hire. So the lady that did the purple videos, or the Squatty Potty people, or whoever it was that did the different videos, one of their requirements was not only does the person who's going to be the actor need to use the product and have been using it, not just been like, "Hey, I want the role and now I'm going to use it." Like they were customers before, they had to love the product because this ensured that when they got on camera and when the purple lady's talking about purple mattresses, she believes what she's saying because she loves the product. And so there are so many of these elements in marketing that sound silly, right? That most of us just like take for granted and say, it's not a big deal. I don't need to use the product. Our spokesperson, doesn't need to use the product. Look at all the big, Coke and Pepsi and the big brands out there that just pay their, do you think Matthew McConaughey's driving a Lincoln? Like all these things, right? They get away with it. Maybe, but think about how many times you watch those commercials and the first thought is Matthew McConaughey would never drive a damn Lincoln, right? Like that's your first reaction and it feels inauthentic. So with your advertising, it's important from the start to begin to think about like, is the person who's in our videos, is the creative, is the copy, is it authentic? Is it from a place that like, this is legit, that if people see this video, that they actually believe what's being said. And not only do they believe it, but they actually feel something because you're creating an experience. And so an example of this too is like we're doing it for our ads right now. So for Unicorn Wealth, for example, one of the things that we're doing is we're putting out forums, right? So basically what we realized is, hey, if we for Unicorn Wealth, for example, like we have a opportunity to build a massive list of people based on what they're interested in financially. And so when we started with our recession bull market poll, which one do you think is going to happen? We started realizing like once you start incorporating elements like politics or your financial well-being into the question, all of a sudden it starts to become personal. And a lot of us as marketers, we get so focused and preoccupied on driving somebody to do something. Like, we want to tell somebody to go do something. And by doing that, the person who does that thing, in their mind, believes they're doing it because this person told them to do it, right? There's nothing more powerful than the opposite of that. The most powerful thing in the world is what Socrates figured out. The Socratic method, Socrates, and then obviously Plato and the rest is history. What they figured out is that if I give them enough rope and let the, that's actually, I'm not going to do that. That's a morbid analogy of hanging yourself. But if I essentially give somebody the seeds of an idea, my idea, but I don't give them the full idea, and then I let that person come to that idea on their own, that is power, right? And I know that line's from Inception, but it's true, right? That a perceived original idea will always be more powerful and have more staying power than a forced idea, right? Me telling you that you need to buy my new Facebook course, not that powerful, right? Because everyone's telling you need to buy a Facebook course. But if you come to that conclusion on your own, that, hey, this guy Max, I've been seeing him online all the time, and he provides so much value, and he's giving me so much content, and he's been talking about that you need to invest in yourself, and that there's no shortcut, and X, Y, and Z. And you, in your mind, say, I need to invest in a course, right? I need to level up this year, and I need to get that course. That's your idea. You sold yourself my product. I didn't sell it to you, right? Directly. I indirectly did. Does that make sense? I know, like, sometimes, like, philosophical stuff can get really heavy and dense, but it's such an important lesson. And I also know that was a very long tangent to Justin's answer. I hope that answered your question, Justin. If it didn't, I'm more than happy to circle back. But basically what I'm getting at here is, like, with these ads that we're running for our Unicorn Wealth brand, instead of us trying to say, like, go to unicornwealth.com and learn about investing, or go to Unicorn Wealth and read about the bull market or the recession, or go buy this Trump product, whatever it is, what we're doing instead is we're creating a forum. We're creating the community that people then come in to have discussions and come to their own original ideas inside our framework, right? And so it's amazing what's happening is people are passionate about these things. And if you don't push people on your ideas, but instead let them share their own ideas in a, like, basically you're saying, I value your opinion, I want to hear your opinion, and you give them a platform to share that opinion with other people, people want to share. Like, this is what's crazy. And I'll get to other questions. I know this is an AMA, but basically it's been me answering one question and going on a long tangent. So I promise I'll answer other questions, but I just want to get this one thread before, because I lose that. Once it's gone for me. So I got to document it. So it's already leaving my head. People, like, a lot of advertisers struggle to get engagement, right? I think that's one. Can we all agree that's one of the harder things is, like, to get people to like and comment and share an ad, right? I struggle with it just with my live videos, right? That's why I had to come up with this fun animation to put. I got to do this all the time because I'm so bad at asking you guys to like and comment and share my stuff. So I had to make a fun little animation just to get you to do it. But that's because we're forcing a specific message on somebody and then expecting that person to share the exact viewpoint that we have and then share our viewpoint, essentially. That's essentially what's happening with ads when you try to get people to share your stuff and engage with it. What's much easier, instead of doing that, is to basically create an ad that is very open-ended, and it's in your thread, it's in your vertical, and it fits your end problem, but it's open. So instead of us saying, hey, go to this website and fill out this form to tell us, if a recession's coming and get this X, Y, and Z. It's simply, hey, we value your opinion and we're curious. Do you think a recession's coming in 2019? And if so, whose fault is it? President Trump or the Democrats? All we're doing there is we're just opening the door. Everyone has an opinion on that, right? So now we're not forcing engagement and we're not asking people or even expecting people to share or engage with something that isn't really, doesn't fit their feed, doesn't fit how they use Facebook on a regular basis. We're creating ads that fit the content that they engage with on a daily basis. Easy. If you can understand what your target customer does on Facebook and Instagram or YouTube, whatever channel, on a daily basis, like personally and socially, what are they doing? What articles are they reading? What are they sharing? What are they commenting on? If you can understand that, you can create incredibly compelling and engaging ads by just mimicking that formula. And then it's much easier because now they're seeing ads, they're seeing content that's your ads that are in line with what they're already actively engaging with, sharing and commenting and liking, right? So it becomes much more natural now, much more likely they're actually going to take an action. So hope that makes sense. That good? Everyone on the same page there about that? Cool. So let's see what the next question was. Okay, let's go over here. So let's see. Alex said, what is a big new change that Facebook has made recently? It's a good question. I mean, the short answer is they've made an insane amount of changes. On the biggest of which is that they've completely overhauled the design of their mobile app. They're completely overhauling the design of their desktop app. So the look, the feel, the emphasis is going to be more on groups and stories and events going forward. They've added a ton of new features to Instagram. So they've added a lot more interactive elements, things like questions, quizzes, polls, countdown timers that you can add to stories via stickers. That's new. They've completely redesigned Ads Manager. That's being rolled out in a gradual, a typical rollout. They've rolled out fan subscriptions. So I got invited to be to beta test their new subscription service. So for public figure pages, you can now monetize your page by basically charging, X number of dollars for exclusive lives, exclusive content, exclusive deals. So essentially, it's in review right now. Once they approve it, I'm just messing around with it. I don't think I'm gonna actually do it. But I think it's set at $39.99, whatever the fixed price is, that people can pay directly in Facebook and get exclusive content from me. So it's that's an interesting new feature that they're rolling out. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff, a lot of features that they are rolling out. And then obviously there's stuff on WhatsApp, there's stuff on Oculus that they're rolling out, new stuff on Messenger. They're really ramping up Messenger and some of the new units in there, the contact forms, the appointment booking, all that good stuff. I mean, at the end of the day, Facebook really is just trying to become the internet. And it already, for the most part, is. Pretty much most of your interactions happen on Facebook or Google at some point during the day, whether you know it or you don't know it. Okay. So that was a good question. Let's see. Next question. Let's see. Going up. So Justin's question answered. Brian, I have one big one for my e-commerce site. Let's say daily we have 90 added carts and only 10 purchases. I'm wondering if it's all price-based. So I'm guessing what you mean by that is, are the 80 cart abandonments all price-based? Is that what the question basically is? And we'll do a little like break there, because I've had too much fun with this animation. I can just hit this all just throughout the live multiple times while I wait for your response there. Okay, so I'll assume, yeah, okay, cool. Oh no, I'm in a ton of group chats on Messenger, and now they're starting to pop up. So, and they're on. I have like 4 Facebook tabs pulled up. So it's there's a lot of stuff happening. So I think one of the single biggest misconceptions around cart abandonment is that it's price. So sure, there are going to be a chunk of people that price is the big reason. There's people who don't buy things because it's too expensive. There's people who don't buy things because they window shop, right? I don't know if Larissa's watching. My wife's watching, but she drives me absolutely insane because as a digital marketer who does a lot of retargeting and owns e-commerce brands and stuff, like when I'm on Google real time and I see somebody on the cart or the checkout and I see them there and then see them there and a minute goes by and 2 minutes go by, I know that they're bailing. And I hate people that abandon checkout, especially window shoppers. She's a window shopper. Like that's what she does at night. It's like entertainment for a lot of people is going through Instagram, going through Snapchat, going to different makeup stores, different websites, and just browsing and just adding things to a wish list. Now, the reason that she's not buying isn't price. It's because she just likes window shopping. Now, eventually those things get bought. Usually by me. I usually figure out what she's doing, and then I have gift ideas, which is great. I love it. Or she'll buy things, and so I think I wouldn't write off the fact that your price. I think more business owners and marketers need to be more confident in the value of their product. Um, I think because of the drop shipping world and because of print on demand and stuff, because there's such heavy competition for very similar products, a lot of people have become dependent on discounting as a differentiator, as the X factor, because everything else is consistent. But when you have a unique product that provides real value and you have limited competition or your competition isn't as good, like you need to stand behind the value and sell the value. Sell the fact that you have tons of testimonials, reviews, the fact that it does this, this, and this, and your competition doesn't do that, that, and that. Stand down the feed by having really good follow-ups to do questions and support and stuff. There's just a lot of ways that you can get people back to buy without relying on lowering the price. At least that's my opinion. And at the end of the day, I know people disagree with me on this. There's people who make a lot of money discounting. I guess my viewpoint is I would rather sacrifice short-term cash to build a long-term high-value brand that's built on the back of full-paying customers that aren't expecting discounts. I think it's a really slippery slope once you start doing discounts and relying on discounts as a crutch. It makes you much less marketable when it comes to actually selling the business or any type of exit, if that's what you're doing. So yeah, again, that's just my opinion on it. It's not not a fact. Other people have different opinions on it, but that's my understanding. Okay, so let's look at some other questions. Okay, Ma on YouTube asked, "Hey, how's it going? How long does it take for you to prepare the whole course?" So that's a great question. Basically, hey, how long does it take you to make a course? And the short answer is it's a lot of time, right? It takes a lot of work and a lot of time, a lot of planning to do it. I would say on a typical basis, like 3 to 4 months is the rough estimate to put a course together. But obviously, there's multiple components, right? It's not just putting the course together and shooting the course. Then there's the launch plan. So for us, probably takes 3 to 4 months to put it together. So planning, shooting, editing. Then it's another month and a half to 2 months of planning a launch, recruiting affiliates, building out the funnels and the marketing strategies and all that stuff, and then deploying it. So all in all, I mean, it can be a 4 to 6 month process to do it right. Now, again, doesn't mean you have to do it that way right out of the gate, right? I think there's ways to kind of dip your feet in the water and roll out a mini course or do things that are less resource intensive. to feel the waters and get a feel for like, hey, is this something that has legs for me? Instead of investing 6 months of your life into something that you don't have any ideas needed in the market. Cool. All right. So it's already been almost 40 minutes. Crazy. What other questions do we have? I'll hang out for a few more and answer any additional questions. JR, if you're still watching, I don't use Vox. So if you want to just message me here on Facebook, that would be better for me to actually get the message. Cool. So any last questions? And make sure, as always, guys, if you're enjoying these videos, if you're enjoying these daily tips, to show that support and hit that like button below. Share it. If you're watching the Facebook group, you obviously can't share it, but if you're watching on my public figure page or my personal page, make sure you share that. Tag some friends that you think would get value out of these marketing tips and strategies. That way they can be on future videos, get their future questions answered. It lets me know that I'm doing a good job, right? And it's important. Fraser said, where can I get a Facebook tee from? That's a good question. So you have to go there. You can get them at headquarters. I didn't get them out in headquarters. I don't know why. This is really bad. Dennis. So Dennis, you and Logan, they I saw them in San Diego at a traffic conversion, and they gave me one. So I know Dennis always has a bunch of them and gives them out at events and stuff. So if you happen to run into Dennis at a marketing event, he should hook you up. But if not, you got to go out and visit them in Menlo Park or at headquarters. Okay, Brian said, how do you construct email ManyChat flows? When you say like how, do you mean like technically how do I do it, or more like mindset and strategically? Because I can go down two very different paths right here, depending on whether it's a technical or a strategic. The only thing that is kind of annoying with Ecamm, or it's not even Ecamm, with Restream, I guess it's a blessing or curse. Like with Restream, it creates unique streams, and I think part of the value of that is it does get more reach, but at the same time, it distributes the views across all different platforms. So instead of it being like one video that has all the shares, it like has a bunch of little videos that are shared everywhere, which is kind of annoying. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I don't care. I don't honestly. If one person watches a video or if 1,000 people watches a video, it doesn't change for me. I just enjoy sharing. Mindset. So, I mean, honestly, like the way we've been thinking a lot lately, and I think it's benefited us in the long run. In the short run, it sucks sometimes, but it's delivering as much value as possible and building as deep a relationship as possible is absolutely critical. And I think that's not common anymore. A lot of marketers and business owners are so focused on instant revenue generation and instant profitability that they sacrifice the long-term upside and they sacrifice the high quality experience for making money today. And so a lot of the email marketing strategy and the messenger marketing strategy is built around how can I sell crap as soon as possible, when it should be how can I build trust as quick as possible. Like, what do I need to do as a brand to make this person who's never bought from me before, who's never heard of me before up until a few days ago, trust me? And not in the sense to trust me to buy from me, but just trust me that I'm even providing valuable content in the first place, right? That what I'm sharing is going to help them, that I actually care about helping them, that I don't just view them as a dollar symbol, just money, for which is what a lot of brands do. So that's really the underlying principle going into any ManyChat or email build is, building that trust, building that relationship, delivering as much value as possible, getting people warmed and primed for long-term profitability versus short-term. And the other thing is really segmentation and personalization. So as soon as possible, I want to segment as deeply as possible, right? And so instead of just getting a bunch of people into the door and treating them all the same for a bunch of emails, I want to learn a lot about these people coming in the door so I can start to break them in different paths that are all personalized. Obviously I can't make it personal for every individual, but I can put people into specific buckets as specific paths that are more relevant and more valuable to them, that increase the open rates and the click-through rates and the reply rates and all the things that are really important for the long-term health of a domain or an ISP for an IP address for your sends on email or your ManyChat account, whatever it is. Okay, Sandrine said, question disappeared. What's a good strategy for local lead generation in 2019, i.e. dentist or insurance broker? It's a good question. So we don't, probably one of the few markets that we don't really do anything in. 1 second, guys. Hey, I'm just finishing up a live right now. Can I call you in a few minutes? Okay. All right. Love you. Bye. Sorry, my dad. They're heading out to Italy tomorrow. Okay. So we don't do a lot of local business. One of the few areas we just never really got involved in. However, the underlying strategies I don't think are that different. And I think for everybody, for every business in 2019, the focus for top of funnel needs to be like interactive content, value, relationship building, engagement, and segmentation. Like those are all the things that need to happen on the front, on the top of the funnel before trying to sell somebody anything. And so when you're thinking about dentists or insurance brokers or things like that, there's two angles. There's two opportunities, right? So there are and this depends on which specific local business we're talking about, but there are the people that are passive and intent-based, right? So intent-based is, hey, I need a dental cleaning and I'm looking for the best dentist in my area. That's intent-based. Then there's passive, which is, hey, maybe I have a dentist right now. Maybe I, just not going to the dentist right now. I haven't gone to the dentist in a while. And that's passive. And so what you need to do in that situation is be in their feed, in their face. So when they do make the decision to switch from passive to intent and go and look, you're the dental, the practice or the dentist they've been seeing everywhere for the last weeks, months, whatever it is. Like that's why if you think about lawyers, right? So like down here in Florida, Morgan & Morgan's huge. They have billboards everywhere. They have TV ads everywhere. They saturate the market because they know when you need a personal injury lawyer and you go to Google or you think of anything, like the first name that comes to mind is Morgan & Morgan. Like, because you see them everywhere. Your brain doesn't have a chance. It is the only name. I'm sure I've seen other names, but they just dominate. They dominate the billboards. They dominate the direct mail. They dominate digital. They dominate everything in the area. And so from a local business standpoint, I think having a similar strategy is appropriate. Obviously within reason, within budget. The cool thing though is that with things like reach, brand awareness, video views, you can reach a lot of people for not that much money. So you're running higher funnel objectives where the goal there is just awareness, credibility, authority. So when they do go to Google and they do search or they go ask friends, like you're the name that they trust, the name that they recognize. So that's one thing that I think is important. What I also say is like thinking about any type of poll or interactive content that you can run on the front end to get people into your ecosystem, right? So maybe it's a, I don't know, like find out your, your oral health score, your tooth tooth score today, or I'm always bad at industries that I have no idea about. I'm always terrible at coming up with stuff on the fly. Um, might be like take our poll to find out how many times Americans actually brush their teeth. Share your share how many times you brush your teeth a day here. Things like that are just quick and engaging, kind of fun. Um, some facts, figures, right? These 12 facts about Americans' oral care might terrify you, right? Six food items that you love but your teeth hate. Things like that. So your value, entertainment, education, top of funnel, and then you can retarget these people to a appointment booking, to a more direct conversion oriented landing page or offer page. But I think for those types of businesses, the focus really needs to be top of funnel, getting people into your ecosystem, building the relationship. So when they do switch to intent, you're the name they think of, if that makes sense. Okay. Fraser said, with the new Facebook course, looking forward to, by the way, will you be doing ad and homepage reviews like the good old days? Yep. So I plan to do a monthly live training. So during that training, I'll do ad audits, landing page audits, everything, questions, answers, all that good stuff. What I'm also planning on doing, and I haven't actually announced this yet, but I can, for the hell of it, I'll announce it right here. So what we're going to do is a special bonus, like a launch bonus, that'll probably just be available for like the first week. I forget the exact time period from launch to close, and you can still buy after the close. But bonus wise, we're going to do a basically month of daily training. So basically, I'll be doing live trainings every single day for the first month of the course. So during that, and then obviously after this, we'll still have the monthly trainings and everything, right? But that bonus will give you that first month, and that'll be super hands on, and I'm really really excited about that. Got that idea from my friend Adrian Morrison, so credit to Adrian. It's a great idea that he gave me, inspired me, and we are selfishly stealing it and creatively using it for our own program. But I think it's a good bonus, so I'm looking forward to that. Awesome. Any final questions? I got time for one more question, and then we will call it a day, or call it a night, or whatever time of day. I don't even know what time it is. So we'll see who gets the last question. If nobody has a final question, that's fine too. We can just call it a night. So I'll give everyone a minute. While I'm waiting for that final question, I gotta do it one more time. If you guys enjoyed today's live, make sure you hit that like button, show it some love, drop a comment, let me know something you learned from today. If you're watching the replay, same thing. If you found value in this, make sure you drop a like. And if you're watching the replay and had a question, just tag me in the comments with your question. I'll come back to it and answer it as quick as possible. All right. Well, it seems like we have no final questions, which is fine with me. No problem at all. Again, I hope everyone had a great day. Hope you enjoyed the live. For watching the replay, I hope you enjoyed it as well. Hopefully, we make it on the next one. And yeah, exciting stuff. Looking forward to tomorrow. Tomorrow's tip number 8. Oh, and again, last thing. The link to today's tip of the day, tip number 7, is somewhere in the comments. I posted it early on in the live, so if you want to watch today's tip number 7, which is about custom conversions and custom events, that is in each comment thread. Enjoy that, and then be on the lookout for tip number 8 tomorrow. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night.